What's going on is Anton from antondaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. I've been getting this news all day, especially while I was on the Millionaire Morning Show. And I just want to give you guys an update on what's going on with Tory Lanez. So currently, TMZ and other sites, including People and Complex and every single site and every vlogger that you can find, is reporting that Tory Lanez has been stabbed while in prison on the prison yard and rushed into the hospital. I'm going to go ahead and give you some insight on what's going on with the article, and then we're going to have a conversation afterwards. It's still unreal to me, to be honest with you, that Tory Lanez is in prison. It's so crazy. I mean, for my bingo card for, what was it, 2022, 2023, 2024, because we had the accusation, the album, the trials, all of this stuff. It's crazy to even think about, but we're going to come back to that. It says that this is how Tory Lanez wants to get out of prison, but he is after suffering a prison yard stabbing so bad he needs hospital treatment. Tory was in the yard of a California correctional institution, and another inmate stabbed him, according to multiple sources, including one in law enforcement. Goes on to say that it is unclear what the motivation was for the attack, but one source tells us that Tory was rushed by ambulance to a nearby civilian hospital in Bakersfield. Now, it is also being reported that Tory Lanez is in stable condition, that he's going to be fine, that he's not going to pass away as a result of it, but he has been rushed into the hospital. And there is no clear motivation. I mean, do you really even need any motivation for prison politics? I don't think so. He was rushed by ambulance to the nearby civilian hospital in Bakersfield. This is him in prison, and so obviously he's been hitting the weights. I recently downloaded his latest album. It was a really great album. Tory Lanez is immensely talented, and there's no reason for him to be in prison. Let's continue. It says just last week he posted a pic of himself looking pretty buff behind bars and bragging his next album will be dropping soon. Obviously, we got Meg Thee Stallion right there. And just to give you guys a little bit of an insight of why he's in prison, just in case you've been under a rock, he's serving a 10-year prison sentence at the California State Prison for the 2020 shooting of Meg Thee Stallion. And she has no regard for this guy whatsoever. Goes on to say Tory and Megan are still battling each other in court, and she's accusing him of enlisting various vloggers to continue publicly smearing and cyber stalking her. So that is currently the situation, and that is currently what is being communicated about Tory Lanez. It is unfortunate because the one thing, actually two things that I never wish on somebody is for them to go broke or for them to go to prison, especially when I don't personally believe that they deserve to be there. It is too many people with false accusations. I seen the Meg Thee Stallion documentary. The minute that I seen her basically was capping over to Gayle King, and she volunteered to go and interview, while at the same time they were saying that Tory Lanez had to be gagged and silenced, and then she lied about them even having a sexual relationship in the first place, which basically poisons the credibility of the witness. And then we fast forward, and we still sitting here, and he's trying to stay relevant by, still dropping content, still dropping albums, and the album was heat. I don't know how his engineer was able to pull off such a feat, but the album was heat and everything was awesome. And now he's getting involved in prison politics, obviously, and he's getting stabbed on the yard. Now, as a person that do not want to know anything about prison politics, nor do I care about prison politics, because hopefully, God willing, before the end of my time is something that I'll never, ever be familiar with. But as a person that is not interested in being a part of prison politics, this is what comes with the game from the different people that I've spoken with. You never know. It depends on the facility itself. It depends on the place where you get locked up at. That, things can pop off at any time, and then you'll find yourself in a difficult situation where you have to defend yourself, or, your popularity outside of prison has nothing to do with your popularity inside of prison. And I just don't want to be a tough guy. I don't want to be going to prison. I'm not interested in going back and forth with people. I don't even put myself in a position to be surrounded by people that are dusty enough to put me in prison, aka getting caught up with Meg Thee Stallion at a party. And meanwhile, I think it was Kylie, the party that they at. Kylie just went off and living her life. Meg Thee Stallion is complaining at her fans that they not buying her album and she didn't sell enough albums when she dropped. Ticket sales is slow as far as concerts, and music is slower for people that's been in the game for a while. They keep dropping the same type of music. She can't compete with Glorilla. And even with Glorilla, you look at Yo Gotti and his brother, he didn't pass away and all of this stuff. And so it's just messy. It's messy. You don't see this in other cultures. You don't see this in other places. There's not people going to prison because people getting shot in the foot and he having to do 10 years as a result of it, and the possibility of getting, deported right after he get out of prison, and he got to rap all of his songs through a jail phone and then have the engineer go and revise it. And now he's going to drop another album talking about how he had to overcome his prison stabbing and all of that. I just don't, maybe it's me as a man of a certain age. I've aged out of certain types of drama. I've aged out of certain types of drama. I don't ever want to be in a position where somebody is reporting that something happened against me that I could have prevented from being in the first place. Now, I'm not saying that he could have prevented being in a situation with Meg Thee Stallion as far as her reporting or, what I believe to be a negative situation that wasn't his fault. However, on the flip side, you have to say that why even be dealing with these ratchet chicks in the first place? It's a cautionary tale. It's a cautionary warning. One day you rapping for Funk Flex and you putting out them bars and you putting out them fire albums and you talking about how you independent. The next day you have a whole system that is trying to send you to prison, and you didn't bust down a chick that's gonna lie on Gayle King, and then they still establish credibility with her and saying that she's valid in her concerns on how she's supposed to be moving, which I again disagree with. But it's an unfortunate situation, and I don't wish this on my worst enemy. I would never wish somebody to not be able to pay for and take care of their responsibilities and for them to lose their job. I would never pray for somebody to just die, and I'm not praying for people to get locked up, especially when they not. In my opinion, there wasn't a sufficient amount of evidence to convict him. But that wasn't up to me. That was up to the court. That was up to the prosecutor. And that was up to the jury. And we just got to accept the fate that was handed down because he's not getting out early. But I'm curious as to what you guys think. Do you think that this is the end of the drama when it comes to Tory Lanez? Or do you think that this is just more ammunition for him to drop more heat on a new album? I love you. I appreciate you. I know that there's other vloggers that are reaching out to find out more information. If there is more information to report after he gets out of the hospital and a speedy recovery to Tory Lanez, if there is more information to report, I will be on it. I will be on top of it. And I will give you guys the latest of what is happening with Tory Lanez and everything that's popular culture that you guys want to hear about. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Hanley 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. Make sure you share this with your friends and family because we don't want to be successful by ourselves. I'm going to holler at you guys later. Peace.